Hey everyone, this is Kelli Calabrese here with your intentionally fabulous tip of the day. And today, my question for you is, do you want to get well? As many of you know, I've been a health coach for 34 years. I wake up every day wanting to be well and wanting other people to be well. But that's not always the case for some people. There's some people who like to be sick. In fact, surveys have shown that up to a third of people like being sick, even if it's just a temporary cold. And what does that give you? Well, it might bring you back to your childhood days where you got all the attention and you felt loved and you got to be in bed and to watch your favorite TV shows. You got some soup and some hot tea. You just got a chance to slow down and get attention. And even as an adult, we remember those days as a child and we just all want to be loved, right? So that's a way we can be loved. It's not necessarily a healthy way, but it's a way for us to get attention and to feel like we're going to be unconditionally loved because people shouldn't be mad at us if we're sick. Well, there was actually a story from the Bible where Jesus goes to the pool of Bethesda, and there's people all around because they have seen that when people can get into the pool, when the water is stirred by angels, they get healed. So when Jesus gets on the scene there, he's walking around, he's looking, and he sees a man who's been there for 38 years. And he says to him, do you want to get well? It's an interesting question, right? Wouldn't you think everyone wanted to get well? I mean, if I had Alzheimer's, if I had cancer, if I had any syndrome, disease, issue, addiction, I would want to get well. Well, it's not true of everyone. In fact, there are mental health disorders and diseases for people who like to stay sick. And of course, they then manifest that when they believe it and think it. There's even parents who like their children to be sick, which is another sick syndrome, because of the attention that their child gets. And that's another mental disorder. But do you want to be well? That's a great question. And this man, who's been there for 38 years, said, well, I have no help. I'm paralyzed. I have no one to help me get into the water. And every time the angels come down and they stir the water, people all run in front of me and I can't get in. So he was using those excuses, really. I can't get up and walk. People get in front of me. I have no one to help me. And so Jesus asked this question, do you want to get well? Some people are just really comfortable. I mean, he had been paralyzed for 38 years. It was really his identity. It was how people knew him and how he knew himself. And even when the sickness is uncomfortable, there's the comfort of knowing what you have to get up and deal with every day. Well, I have to take medicine and I don't have a lot of energy and I don't sleep well and I'm overweight, all these things that we deal with. As a health coach, I've seen this where there's people who are morbidly obese their entire lives. There's people who don't quit addictions their entire lives. So, what does it take to heal? What does it take to get well? Well, I would say number one is the belief. It's the faith, right? You have to believe first that you can get well, or it just isn't going to happen. If you don't have the faith that it's possible, the belief that it's possible, because we know that our beliefs become our thinking becomes our actions eventually become our habits, which eventually become our character or identity. So, number one, you've got to believe, and you may have known someone or seen some spontaneous healing, some unexplainable things that science and medicine just cannot explain because it started with some belief, something miraculous. The second is you have to keep the hope. For this man, it was 38 years. My goodness, I hope it's not that long for you because some things happen in a decision, just deciding that I'm going to get well. Sometimes someone will get a diagnosis and they just decide, I'm going to beat this no matter what. And there's other people that are told you have 6 months to live and they die to the day, 6 months. I mean, there's research and science out there that proves it because of what you believe. So you have to have the faith and the belief first. Second is you have to keep the hope because it may take a while. We don't know how long, but it could take a while. So how long, we don't know. Hopefully not very long, but keep that hope up because whether it's mental, physical, relational, emotional, financial, whatever it is, keep hope that it will happen, because what's your other alternative, right? You're going to wake up and just and give up and surrender and just be miserable and stay stuck. Stuck is the worst. It's one of my least favorite things for people. Don't stay stuck. The third part is it takes work, right? So we can't just lay there and pray and do nothing. So we have a part and God has a part. So it's going to take some effort. You might have to learn something new. You may have to try something new. Um, Something different has to happen. And the fourth part is then you need to act on it. So it's not enough to know, but you actually have to do. And God will meet you. God will do his part. You need to do your part. So that's just how it works. And when you do, then it changes your identity. So you go from someone who was sick and paralyzed. And Jesus said, take up your mat and walk. And then he did. He stood up and he picked up his mat and he walked. So that was his action. He had the faith, he believed it was possible, and then he did what he was commanded to do. And he went off and walked. And when people saw him, they thought he was the paralyzed man for 38 years, but now they see him walking. So his whole identity has changed. So, my question to you today is, do you want to get well? What is it that has not been well in your life for who knows how long that you're ready to do something about? And specifically, I'm speaking to women who are going through various stages of separation, divorce, post divorce, any relationship breakup where they are stuck in this grief cycle, where they're still sad or depressed or lonely or angry or wherever in this grief cycle that keeps them short of being not only healthy but amazing again. So if this is you, I invite you to join my Facebook group. It's called Intentionally Fabulous. Send anyone there who you know is in any stages of this post-relationship grief. And also, you can go to intentionallyfabulous.com and get on a waiting list for a new course that I have called Single Redefined. So I hope you do choose to be well. I think you're amazing. Have an intentionally fabulous day.